Like Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State John Kerry apparently enjoys the immunity from prosecution that being a powerful leftist brings you today. The Boston Globe revealed recently that just as President Trump was withdrawing the United States from the Iran deal, Kerry was working hard to sabotage the president's foreign policy regarding the Islamic Republic of Iran. Kerry reportedly sat down at the United Nations with Foreign Minister Javad Zarif to discuss ways of preserving the pact and limiting Iran's nuclear weapons program. This was not apparently a one-off meeting between Kerry and the foreign minister of the regime that orders its citizens to chant "Death to America" in mosques every Friday. The Globe continued, it was the second time in about 2 months that the two had met to strategize over salvaging a deal they spent years negotiating during the Obama administration, according to a person briefed on the meetings. Further, the Globe reported that Kerry has not limited his shadow diplomacy to Javad Zarif. Kerry also met last month with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and he's been on the phone with top European Union official Federica Mogherini. Kerry has also met with French President Emmanuel Macron in both Paris and New York, conversing over the details of sanctions and regional nuclear threats in both French and English. Kerry's spokesperson confirmed the meetings, but danced around admitting his behavior. Why? Because John Kerry must know that he's put himself in violation of a never-prosecuted federal law that only seems to be mentioned when a conservative is involved. For example, former acting Attorney General Sally Yates said that Michael Flynn should be prosecuted under this law, the Logan Act. The Logan Act forbids unauthorized people from engaging in negotiations with foreign governments that are involved in disputes with the United States. The Logan Act's intention is to prevent those unauthorized negotiations from undermining the position of the U.S. government. Now, isn't that exactly what Kerry did? Shouldn't he be arrested and prosecuted? He won't be, of course. Kerry's deep state peers think he's right, and hoping for his success, they couldn't care less about the Logan Act. Just like they couldn't care less about the security of classified State Department documents when they showed up on Anthony Weiner's laptop next to his naughty selfies. Kerry's friends who are still employed in the U.S. government won't be roused to care about the Logan Act unless one of their own is back in the White House, and let's say former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo by that time goes around the world drumming up support for the Trumpian foreign policy that this neo-Obama in the Oval Office is busy dismantling. Now, of course, Pompeo is unlikely to do that because he, unlike Kerry and others on the left, actually respects the law. But were he or some other member of the Trump administration to do what Kerry is doing now, the media outcry would be immediate and insistent, calling for the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrator, and that arrest would likely soon follow. The law in the United States is for the little people and for conservatives. Popular culture is obsessed these days with white privilege that extends even to shampoo bottles and hotels, but the most heinous example of privilege in today's society is one that nobody talks about: leftist privilege. If you're a leftist and you want to start a not-for-profit organization, no problem. Only conservative organizations get buried in mountains of red tape and hobbled by unexplained delays from the IRS. If you're a leftist and you start a news website, you'll have loads of readers referred to your site from Facebook, Twitter, and all the rest. Only conservative sites are being systematically blocked. It's leftist privilege. If you're a leftist president, you can oversee a corrupt and lawless administration for 8 years and then brag about how your presidency was scandal-free. You won't hear a murmur of dissent from an establishment media that worked hard throughout those years to make sure that as few people as possible knew about your real scandals. And if you're John Kerry, you can traverse the globe doing everything you can to undermine the foreign policy of the United States government, secure in the confidence that you will not face any consequences at all. You're John Kerry. You're a made guy in the leftist political elite. You could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and awaken the next morning to adoring headlines in the New York Times. I'm Robert Spencer, a Shulman Fellow for the David Horowitz Freedom Center and Director of Jihad Watch. This video has been brought to you by the Center for Security Policy.